Another very unique feature of the MV Agusta 3-cylinder engine, a feature that only MV Agusta has in the middleweight, super sport, or naked category, is the cassette-style transmission. The cassette-style transmission is a technology that comes from our racing heritage. And what that means is we have a transmission assembly that's completely assembled, attached to a plate. This plate can be inserted and removed from our engine very easily. So if you need to do any service on the engine, on the transmission can be very simply removed from the engine while the engine is still in the chassis. If you want to do any upgrades, if you want to have racing components inside of your transmission, it's something that's very simple to do and very easy to access, to take out and replace into the engine. Now, our transmission is not only unique in the fact that it is a cassette-style transmission, it's also very unique because, as we did with the countershaft and with the crankshaft, trying to make each component do more than just one exact operation, we have a transmission where we don't have normal pins which are holding the shift forks. We designed a transmission that is unique today in production, where the shift forks are actually guided by the shift drum. So there's no additional steel pins which add weight, complexity to the transmission, and also increase the size of the transmission in and of itself. So by incorporating the shift forks directly onto the shift drum, we're able to make the transmission even more compact and also have additional control, because where there's more components, there's more tolerances. Where there's more tolerances, there's more play, and where there's more play, there's less precision. So all 3-cylinder engines have a cassette-style transmission. All 3-cylinder engines have the shift forks driven directly on the shift drum. For Euro 4, inside of this transmission, we also have a number of technical updates. One of the primary technical updates are the redesign of all of the shift dogs. Inside of the transmission, you not only have the gears that are mating tooth to tooth, but you have the transmission of power which is going through the shift dogs on the primary and secondary shaft. These shift dogs, when you shift, for example, from 5th to 6th, this gear slides from one side to the next, and you'll notice that there's these side teeth, which are called shift dogs, which have to come into play with one and the other to transmit the power. Now, a precise, accurate, and extremely fast shift is dependent on two things: the probability that when these teeth come together, they find a hole, and number two, the undercuts on the teeth. If you look very closely at the shape of those teeth, they're actually dovetailed. And what dovetailing does is actually helps the gear pull in the next gear. As soon as they come in contact, there's actually a helical effect where the power of the engine is pulling that gear into place. So by completely redesigning these shift dogs, we're able to reduce the improbability by about 23% of having a shift that is exact and fast. This technology was developed in our experience with World Supersport and with World Superbike Racing. So the same technology that we're developing on the racetrack to win races and get podiums on a world level is the same technology that we have brought to all of our Euro 4 transmissions. The technical advancements that we have introduced into the transmission are not only mechanical advancements, but later on, when we speak about electronics, we'll also explain how this mechanical feature has also been incorporated with the new electronics to give us extremely fast, extremely smooth, and extremely precise shifting.